Hey guys, I'm Kyle with Rhino. In this video, I'm going to show you how to swap out your rails. If you got the Ultimate Slider bundle, it comes with a 42-inch Pro Slider built up, but it also comes with your 24-inch carbon fiber rails if you want to swap out to a really mobile run and gun setup. Let's jump into it. All right, the first thing we're going to do is lock our carriage brake. So we're going to screw this in here, and we're going to flip our slider over upside down. And you can see the belt drive system here, there are two different fasteners. We're gonna loosen both of those up right now. So this one here drops this belt, this one here drops this belt. Then I'm gonna loosen up this fastener, I'd say about 3/8 of an inch before we change out the belt. So next up, we're gonna flip the slider over, and there's four what we call assembly bolts that go in through the legs, through the end plates, and into the rails to hold the whole system together. So let's unscrew those. All right, now that we have our end plates unscrewed, we can move them off to the side, remove our 42-inch belt. And you're going to use a different belt for your 24-inch rails. So just roll this up, store it in your case. We're going to loosen our carriage brake and remove our carriage. I'll store my rails. All right, now it's time for a plug for Armor All, because we love using their products to clean and maintain our slider. They're not getting paid for this, but it's actually a great product. If you use your slider a lot in, say, a dusty or sandy environment, you need to take care of it. And if you do end up messing up your rollers, if you get a ding in one from a piece of sand getting caught in between the roller and the rail, we do sell roller replacement kits. But to make sure that doesn't happen, all I do is spray some Armor All onto a little terry cloth or microfiber cloth, and it actually makes the rails look really good, but it also keeps them shiny and clean and removes any debris. Now, you also want to do this if you're changing out your rails. You want to clean the rollers, and what I'll do for that is I just hold the cloth in place, and then I'll move the roller with my thumb, spin it around a couple times, and it makes sure it gets all of those little gritty bits out of there. All right, that's the end of the promo for Armor All. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to mount this carriage back on our short 24-inch carbon fiber rails. Take your end plate and install it. Make sure you have the tripod threads down in case you want to use those. And this just screws right in. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that you don't fold up your legs quite yet, even if you're going to put this into a carrying case. Because if you fold up your legs, you're not going to be able to access the pulley to put the belt back on. And trust me, I've done that a ton of times, and it's just a pain. All right, we have our slider. I'm going to move the carriage off to the side, engage the carriage brake, flip it back over. And the first thing I'm going to do after I unravel my belt, so I'm going to put it on the stationary side, so the side that doesn't have the tensioner. Then make sure your belt isn't spun around. Make sure it's going the right direction. Feed it through your end plate. Making sure I don't have any twists in it, I'm going to go around my other pulley. Then I'm going to clamp it to the adjustable side. This can get a little bit tricky, but what you want to do is when you have it engaged with the teeth, you tighten up this knob just enough to keep it from slipping, but not too much, because you still want to be able to tighten it with this fastener here. So I'm just going to push it a little bit, help it along as it tightens. And then I'm gonna tighten this one all the way. I'm pretty darn good. Now, took probably about 2-3 minutes. You're gonna get better at this as you change out your rails. You can always buy a completely new slider if you want to, but this is a great way to have 2 sliders for a lower price. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know when my belt is tight enough? We get this question a lot. So if you can move your carriage around and the belt is slipping on the pulleys on the end, that is obviously not tight enough. Or if you have your motor on here and the pulley is actually slipping inside of the belt, it's not tight enough. Now, on the other hand, how do you know if it's too tight? Well, if you move it by hand and it has a lot of resistance to it, it's gonna be way too tight. So it's pretty subjective. Just make sure it's snug, but you don't want to put a screwdriver on it and get it as taut as possible, because you're going to stretch it out and there's really no point in that. So if you have any questions about our different sliders or other how-to videos, watch them on YouTube, or you can reach out to us at support@rhinocg.com.